not even need Bauer's game for me.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out Team 3 from Brain Games. This is for 3 to 6 players, or if you have both versions of the game, 3 to 12 players, it will take you about 30 minutes to play, and it's for ages 14 plus. I would ignore that. I'd say more like ages 9, 10 plus. And in Team 3, this is a very different, distinct game that can play cooperative or competitive, but the main gist is that there are going to be 3 people on each team, working each round. The first person is going to be looking at a card that looks something like this. You'll see different shapes stacked on top of each other with various different colors. They're going to take this information and they are going to communicate it to the other person that's going to be playing in this round. However, they cannot talk. They are going to have to do hand gestures and pointing and all sorts of various different stuff like that in order to communicate what is on this card, because everyone else at the table will not be seeing this card. Now, that second person needs to take those wild and crazy hand gestures and take that and then communicate to the third person how to build said structure on the card. And if you're playing competitive, you will be racing against another team, or potentially more than 2 teams, I think, if you really wanted to jimmy rig the rules, but we'll talk about that later. They're going to be communicating to that third person how to build it, right? No, not just right, because that person, of course, will not be able to see, which means they won't know where the pieces are. They won't know what piece it is without feeling it around. They won't know how to twist things. They won't know how to place things. And therein lies your game, folks. So that is Team 3. I might shoot a gameplay video of this because it is a really fun game to watch being played. But this is the review, so let's go over the pros. Let's go over the cons. And before we get into that, I want to start with the lead, which is Team 3 is really stinking great. I think it is an absolutely great game. It is going to, bam, take out herd mentality for my game of the month this month. I think I'm probably going to give this around an 8.6 because this, while not being a game that I'm going to reach for, all the time, is an absolutely spectacular ace up your sleeve game to bust out because it's so different and so unique that even people who are into heavier games will enjoy the experience, enjoy the ride, enjoy saying, you know what, I'm glad I got to try that. It's not something I want to do on a regular basis, but that's really stinking cool. And at the same time, it's light enough and simple enough at its core gameplay that you could teach anyone, including your family. So starting off, fantastic game, great, highly recommend this one. But let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, and I'm going to be pretty slim here on the cons. The gameplay is repetitive. You're going to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It's just, it doesn't change. It's just, oh look, that one's different from this one because there's something doing here. And that's pretty much the game. Also, another thing is that this is a very stressful game, and I want to make sure I convey that. If you've watched this video, you pretty much know if this game is going to be for you, most likely. However, one thing I want to mention is that you get easily stressed or you play with people who get easily stressed when gaming. This is not something you're going to want to play competitively, and maybe not even just the regular version of the game, because it still can be incredibly frustrating when someone is not understanding what you're conveying, or if you're not understanding what someone else is conveying and they're getting frustrated, even though perhaps they're not explaining it the best way. And that will happen in spades in this game from time to time, because you have 1, 2 people communicating to someone else in completely different ways, and it really makes your brain think different ways. But these are all minor cons, because moving on to the pros, I don't think I have too many cons. Overall, it's just such an interesting experience, and it is a game. I really enjoy playing this competitively, that I think Team 3 is going to be something that I would recommend everyone try. And that's not something I say about a lot of games. Like, if you give me a typical deck builder, I'm not going to be like, man, everyone has to try trains because it's deck building with a board. No, no, but this is so different, so unique from most of the other games out there. Now, I'm sure someone's going to post in the comments about how there's another game that's just like this, but slightly different. And I'm still saying most other games play very differently from this one. I also really like how it kind of makes your brain, like, you learn, the more you play this game, the more you learn it, the better you get at it. And then you start to pick up, like, little tricks. Like, if you're the person who has to be doing the block stacking, then one pro tip I'd recommend to you is just immediately grab 2 of the pieces, start feeling what they are, are, and then the person who's looking at the card might be like, oh, he actually already needs to get the black piece, so he might signal to your left hand, which means the second person will be like, oh, left hand, that's the block you need. Set it down, and then you're a little bit ahead of the game just right there. So I would recommend always having two pieces in your hand. I don't know why I'm giving pro tips. This is a review, and I'm not a pro, but that's what I'd say. So that's what I've got here. It's a really cool, interesting game. Everyone who I've played it with has enjoyed it to some extent, at least the experience of trying it out. It worked when I was in the classroom working with kids. We played this a couple times, and they enjoyed it as well. Not to mention the icing on the cherry top, whatever the hell phrase I'm trying to say here, is that there's a Diced app, which is a completely free app you can download, and they have a tutorial on there, which for the time being is completely free, and it will teach you without having to go to the rule booklets, which is always great, even though the rule booklet's not like terrible or anything like that. Oh, but oh my gosh, there's more to talk about, which of course is if you have both versions of the game, you can bump it up to 12 players. Now, due to current circumstances in 2020, I have not gotten the opportunity to do that, but I can't wait to do that and see how that works. I can't wait to try and jimmy rig this to get 4 or 5, 4 different teams, and maybe with more boxes you can get up to 8 different teams. Because here's the thing, as long as you have the same card and you're not talking over each other, I don't see a reason why you couldn't have a whole bunch of teams doing this. Like that, this has the potential to be a really cool, like, giant tournament game. Oh my gosh, at a convention or something like that, where, maybe you have the screen back here, and then you at each table, you have all the different people. So it'd be a table here with people, table here with people, table here with people, and then the one person would be looking at that. The other people are not allowed to turn around, and so they're conveying, oh, that could be cool, that could be neat. Oh my gosh, do it, Brain Games. Next convention. There's another convention. Oh, if there's another convention, that would be a very cool idea. Feel free to steal that. But in the end, Team 3, I'm going to give this an 8.6. I think it's a little bit repetitive, which, knocks it back a little bit. I think this is a game that I'm not going to get to the table too terribly often because, when you're setting out games, it's like, oh, what do you guys want to play tonight? You want to play Chronicles of Crime? Do you want to play Dead of Winter? Do you want to play Team 3? I think for most game nights, that's just not a situation that's going to happen, but maybe towards the end of the night type of thing. Also, the stressful aspect of it, it's not going to be for someone. Some people are just going to be inherently better at it, which can mean you are going to want to switch up teams. So there's some things that I don't like about the game, but overall, it's such an interesting, unique experience that I can absolutely recommend checking out Team 3 from Brain Games. If it looks like it might become tea, be sure to check that out. Also, there's no real difference between the pink and the green, as far as I know, except for maybe some different cards or something like that. But there you go. If you enjoyed what I'm doing, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. Also, consider supporting the Patreon down below, because I'm currently out of a job homeschooling and trying to make any little extra source of income I can. In the comments below, let me know. How excited. Oh, how often do you use skip the rules videos, watch it play videos, those style rules when learning a game? And do you actually prefer those, or would you prefer the rule booklet as well? Because I'm very interested to know what a lot of people different think. So let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.